Meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
And Kish is here. I have the meeting minutes from the August 8th regular meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees. The meeting was called to order at 7:03 p.m. by Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call. Lynch, Euring, and Kish were present. Abraham was absent, and it's noted that we have a quorum. Also in attendance, Case Marsh, G. Lynch, and L. Ashley. 8:123, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move to approve the July 25th, 2023 regular meeting minutes as read. All ayes. 8:223, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing with reservation as provided by the fiscal officer. All ayes. Trustee Lynch welcomed everyone and asked if there were any discussion, if there were any audience issues. M. O'Donnell, the renter of our rental property, asked for reconsideration for having a pet at the rental property. Trustee Lynch noted that his stance is to stick with the rental agreement, which states no pets, and Trustee Euring agreed. Under correspondence, Trustee Lynch noted 2 items received were a NOACA requesting our annual dues of $1,117 for July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Fiscal Officer Kish noted that these dues are budgeted for a calendar year versus a fiscal year, and she has already reached out to NOACA to explain this. Second notice is from the Lorain County Commissioners, noting a discussion will be held during their meeting on Tuesday, September 5th at 5 p.m. This will be to consider individual requests by resolution from each Board of Township Trustees in Lorain County, requesting that the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution to declare the totality of the unincorporated portion of these townships as a restricted area for construction of economically significant wind farms, large wind farms, and large solar facilities, according to OPC sections 303.57 through 303.58, and as outlined in Senate Bill 52. Reports. Ambulance service. Special meeting of the Sandstone Joint Ambulance District scheduled for Thursday, August 17th has been canceled. Under zoning, zoning public commission hearing for rezoning of approximately 45 acres fronting the east side of Oberlin Road, south of State Route 113 from RAG to R1. Trustee Lynch noted that packets contain information regarding the open architect position, and more information will continue to be gathered, and discussions will be had before a decision is made on how to handle this open question. Roads, parks, and cemetery, mowing, trimming, and potholes. Burial on Thursday morning. Sandstone finished the second mini grant, the 3 catch basins. Griffith Paving finished the paving on Balsam Drive and Juniper. Working on the new truck, and steps have been made to contact the gentleman who needs to come in and appraise the trade-in, as well as the fiscal officer handling the paperwork needed to get the process rolling. Estimate for Middle Ridge Road was received from Sean at the Lorain County Engineers Department. Township Administrator has been working on the OPWC Round 38 grant and will supply the numbers to Trustee Lynch tonight, working on the addresses that Redwood requested. Morgan has been doing a very good job, working on the shredding days in either October or April, or both in conjunction with dumpster days. 3 properties have been cleaned up and will have assessments placed on their properties. Under old business, Trustee Euring noted that the Lorain County Solid Waste Management District has provided a copy of the draft final waste management plan for ratification to each legislative authority. Each legislative authority must decide to approve or disapprove the plan within 90 days of receipt of the final draft plan. His recommendation is the Amherst Township approve it. 8:323, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Adoption of the solid waste management plan for the Lorain County Solid Waste Management District. All ayes. Trustee Euring mentioned packets contained a copy of Exhibit E for the Solid Waste Consortium, adding a paragraph that could include the manufactured home parks in Amherst Township in the upcoming bid for Solid Waste Consortium curbside waste and recycling service. 8:423, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to modify the Amherst Township Exhibit E for the Solid Waste Consortium bid proposal. The language provided by the legal representative for the consortium. Although not included in the original bid, the active units within each manufactured home park may elect as a group to participate in the collection services offered by Amherst Township residential units following expiration or termination of each manufactured home park's existing collection contract, subject to the approval of the contractor. All ayes. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. BZA meeting for Butchko area variance on Thursday, August 24th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And the Zoning Commission will continue the public hearing on Tuesday, September 5th at 6:30 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall for rezoning of approximately 45 acres fronting the east side of Oberlin Road, south of State Route 113 from RAG to R1. 5:23, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Urick to adjourn at 8:05 p.m. All ayes.
Any changes or corrections to the August 8th, 2023?
I have one change, that I can see. On Resolution 8.3, there was a prepared resolution on that, right? So that should be
Yes.
C addendum. See addendum on it.
Any other changes?
No, that's just as she was reading on my.
I make a motion to approve the August 8th, 2023 meeting minutes as corrected.
A second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Abraham?
Oh, abstain.
Okay, you have in front of you the financials. We have a payment listing, nothing too, pretty slow. You're going to start noticing a lot of Ohio Edison bills, and that's because I think I told you at one of the prior meetings that Ohio Edison has decided we can't have a master account anymore, which listed all of our parks and our, you have less than 10 accounts, you can't have a master account anymore. So we have, I think, 5 on that one. So I'm going to be getting separate bills for each park. I haven't figured it out yet because I have set up on bill pay. I have to create all these extra account numbers, and I may just be doing warrants because they're making it
It'd be
very
extra
difficult.
work for them too.
This is Ohio Edison? They're telling you how to keep your books?
Well,
No.
they used to, if you have, so Middle Ridge, I think there's 2 accounts for Middle Ridge. There's for across the street for the lighting. There is, I don't know all the perks off the top of my
It's
head.
okay. It's basically, Denny, you go multiple properties, it's like different utilities will give you all the separate ones versus combining them.
For a while, Ohio Edison combined them, and they called it our master bill, because it included all of the parks, or the cemeteries, or whatever needed lighting. And they decided now, if you have less than 10 accounts, you're gonna get billed separately for each one. So right now, we're in the middle of that happening. So like, the one bill for Ohio Edison for $654.32 was for all of them for last month, and then there's 2 on there that have now been split out, so it's just going to be till I get a handle on it.
Just out of curiosity with the.
And then they want you to do it electronically. Well, now I have to create 7 different passwords.
Right. Oh, they gotta have a password.
Yeah, for each account number. So it's like,
But
so
they're-
I need to talk to
They
them.
aren't giving you a paper bill anymore then?
Yes, I am getting a
Okay,
paper
so you
bill,
will
which
still
they,
get a.
yeah.
Okay.
So they may be getting warrants once I start getting all these bills, trying to keep it straight, so.
Because I continually get a message where they want me personally to have an e-bill, and I keep saying, no, I
Mhm.
want that paper bill.
So, just so you know, in case you're like, why do we have all these?
Will
7
we
different bills.
receive any settlement money from Ohio Edison? Because.
Well, there are, that was one thing I was going to bring up under correspondence. We have gotten a couple of notices, but they want you to accept an online debit card.
Right, which I don't understand why they didn't just credit the
I
account
know,
when they
one's for
sent that to us.
$1.53
That'll be a smaller one.
and one is for $90.39. But I don't know what you can use these,
Debit card.
yeah, debit cards for. So if I print them or if I accept them, I'll probably give them to Linda that she could use it for supplies or something. Yeah, it's a point of sale.
What a
An online
way
or a
of
point of
reimbursing
sale.
something for something that was underhanded to
Ac-
begin with.
If you read the editorial in today's newspaper, in the
Okay.
Chronicle, it states that exactly. It was like,
All right.
people,
Well, I
the
did-
Better Business Bureau has gotten involved because people got this and they thought it was a scam.
Well, that's what we thought. Georgianne ended up checking on it to find out if it was a scam or real, and when we found out it was real, then is it worth it? And it's like, why wouldn't they just credit our account? It's silly.
It is very silly. So if I print those out, I will give those to Linda and she can use them as, when she orders supplies or something.
That's that,
But now I wonder if we can phone in the card number so that she doesn't have to show up at the establishment. If you have the material delivered.
Right, but I'm just thinking if she gets Staples or something, she could probably.
Okay.
they don't send you a card, they just give
Yeah,
you
they give you a piece of,
account number.
yeah,
You have to,
enter it in.
some places won't let you do
And I
that.
even went through today, because I did my own $7 and whatever cents from my home, and I was trying to see where I could ask for them to mail me.
Yeah.
I want a hard card mailed to me. I don't want this.
I know Georgianne, when she got it, she said, you know what? The real reason they did it this way is they're hoping a lot of people
Will not do it.
won't even do it. And then the question is, what happens to that money? I sure hope that was worked out in the settlement.
Probably was. People don't claim it, you get to keep it, I don't
Go
know.
to the attorneys
I
or
won't
the
know.
Ohio Edison keep it? Do they have
I
to
don't
use
know.
it for some charitable
That makes you
work?
wonder, it makes you wonder, but.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So
I have-
just so you know, when you'll be noticing a lot of Ohio Edison payments, that's what's going on. It's just going from 2 bills to 7 bills. And there's also a warrant in here for a Natalie Yacobozi for $330. That was a reimbursement. There was something configured wrong for her zoning permit that she was getting.
Okay.
So. The stump guy was clearing some in the park.
Yes.
But not too bad this month. Also, you have the credit card detail in front of you, or in your packets. We did receive the second half settlement, it's just not in yet. I just got the check in the mail.
Okay.
But our year-to-date revenue is $967.91.89. And our expenditures are $719,251.74. And our second half check it's 300,000 something. I couldn't give you the right, it's sitting on my desk.
I want to mark that 300,000
Plus,
something.
300,000 something. I can give you the exact number after the meeting.
Well, the main thing is that we received it because I
Yes.
recall asking about it the last
Yes.
meeting.
We just got it.
Okay, are there any questions regarding the financial package?
I have no questions.
All right. If not, then I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial reports and the payments, the items on the payment listing.
I'll second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
The number on that, Chris?
That's 8-7.
7. I'll also make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed for policy. The card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Okay, hold on,
Okay.
let me look at it, I just want to look at it.
Any discussion? I don't remember ever asking on look at it.
It's a nonverbal discussion.
Right?
All right,
One-sided.
all right, go ahead.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
That's 8-8. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Chris. I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. Anything to bring before the trustees, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll move on. Any other correspondence or announcements, Chris?
I think you've got what I would bring up, so.
Okay. David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
All right, Denny?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll move on then. Reports, ambulance, Denny?
The meeting was canceled. I do not know why, but it was canceled.
I can add to that, Denny. I know since, I'd sat in when you were out, Brandon Demakia did call, and since he was waiting on information from City of Amherst Mayor Costello,
Right.
and we had discussed before about going out for proposals, and I just heard, probably about an hour and a half before our meeting tonight, Mayor Costello called me. He's penciled together a proposal. He was going to email it over to me. I don't have it yet, so it'll probably come tomorrow to look at it. He took the initiative to do that. He did get a copy of Illyria's and some others to try and determine what all we need in there.
So it was held up because of the mayor, and he was just doing his homework.
Right, because there is
Right.
that, I think it was 55,000 they're asking for.
Right.
Or maybe I've got that wrong. I know we put that in for the budget for added amounts just because everything was still up in the air.
Right.
But the question is, we're going from zero to something.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
And I think that the Sandstone Joint Ambulance District has a decision to make too. There were several options, but I think they're leaning towards the option of not putting on additional ambulance and staff, but I don't know that for certain. I just sense that in talking separately, not together, between Mayor Costello and Assistant Fire Chief Brandon Demakia, who I assume is probably talking to the mayor and others in the village. But so, when we get that proposal going out, I agree with the mayor that, it's a responsible thing to do for our citizens and see what our options are. Certainly nothing negative being said about life care. That's not the case. It's just getting this large bill right now. We've got to determine, is that the competitive rate in today's environment? Okay, so we'll go on. We don't have our policing officer here. Zoning inspector's not here this evening, but I just want to mention a couple of things. One is, I know that David and Denny, you guys are both in support of an architect. As you're aware, our architect, Mark Wesner, has resigned. He's agreed to help us in the transition, but I think if we really want an architect, it's something that we're going to have to move forward on. I'd be looking for volunteers right now to do that research. I provided the name and phone number of one architect that Mark had given me. I haven't heard back. He was going to, he had a second one, but he just couldn't recall, didn't know a lot of details there, but happened to be an individual with a business here either in Amherst Township or close to Amherst Township. And as I've explained in previous meetings, there is no requirement that we have an architect unless we set up an architect review board, which we do not have here in the township. There's also the public hearing, just a reminder for the 45 acres that's fronting the east side of Oberlin Road, that Mr. David Zollers asked for a map amendment, basically doubling the density. And that public hearing was continued to September 5th. Probably because there were some changes there, he did now start talking about a conservation development. He's also discussed his options of procuring a larger parcel south of that. But just as of today, I heard back from Lonnie Dillon, the chair of our zoning commission, who's been in contact with our zoning inspector, Sam D'Ambrosio, and Sam sent last Wednesday an email to Mr. Kohler and has not heard back from him to see, hey, is this still on? Have you made any changes? And I did send to Sam and Lonnie earlier this week article from the Chronicle. Here I found out Mr. Kohler with Cambridge Development is also working with the city of Elyria on a development. It's over 200 units on the old golf course on the east side, or the west side of Gulf Road. I believe it's called Villa of the Valley, so that may be grabbing more of his attention since that's farther along than what he's looking for here in Amherst Township. And I don't know if anybody else has heard from anything on this. David, have you heard anything?
No.
Okay.
No, that's,
Well, then
matter of
we've
fact, I'm
got-
surprised about that.
Yeah, my email from Lonnie today, because I'd sent stuff to him and let him know that I'd been in contact with Sam, I believe 2 weeks ago, and Sam had said he might give this Mr. Kohler a jingle because he hadn't heard anything then. There's also on 824, the Butchko area variance. That's where he's doing a business expansion. The variance, I believe, is going to be looking for the gravel lot versus the paved lot for his warehouse, the proposed warehouse. There's no questions on zoning. We'll move on. Fire prevention, Chris Nyhart.
No report.
Okay. Roads, roads, parks, and cemetery, Superintendent Smarsh.
Yeah, I don't have too much. Everything's been running fairly smooth, all typical maintenance. I did hear from Erie Blacktop today, and it is planned for the milling to start on next Thursday, which would be the 7th. And it was, as long as everything goes good, they will have it milled off in one day. They'll leave it open, and they're then planning then to repave for the following Thursday. I spoke with Linda, and she was going to put the heads up on the page.
Okay.
Is this Oberlin Road then?
Yes, between Middle Ridge and North Ridge,
Okay.
next Thursday. As we spoke, in the monies, the stump guy trimmed trees and removed trees down at the park for the electric, the power line, and the electric pole with the lights on it at the bottom of the driveway. And then there was a partial tree that actually had came down last week, maybe the week before, because he was here last week, so might have been the beginning of the week. It's real close to the shed at the bottom of the hill, so it's kind of perfect timing. He took care of that. And then the tall elm tree that was dead in the woods, he ended up taking that down. It's still off to the side, it's out of the way, but still needs to be cleaned up. We was going to let it dry a little bit more because we had all that rain from the time that he went down
Yeah,
there.
it gets slushy back there.
Yeah, made a little bit of ruttage there by the pavilions, but we're going to try to tamp that around a little bit.
Okay. Anything else, Kevin?
That's it.
Okay, well, the trustees have in their packet, Kevin and Linda were also working on the Round 38 applications. We've got 2 of them, and between them and myself, we've been back and forth here on numbers, but we're going to take these one at a time. The first one, which is probably the one we'll have the best chance of getting approved, though there's no guarantee. Discussions with Sean DeFallen, the engineer's office, they always give you the same thing. Well, 1 point may make the difference whether you get approved or not, but have pretty good confidence on this. Georgianne, do you have the spreadsheet for that resolution to put up? The one for Middle Ridge. The other one in the Word document. Yes, that one. Okay, I guess first I just want to, I'll make a motion to authorize to submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission Round 38 for funding of the Middle Ridge Road TR-32 resurfacing project from Brown Helm Township line to existing pavement joint at Quarry Road, just to get this on the floor.
I'll second it.
And that's 8-9.
Yes.
All right, now we'll just open this up for...
You wanna,
Yeah, I'm going to go over this. When we had the discussions here, we had, first off, there was, we've tried to put in here, based on the scoring methodology that's used in District 9, which we're part of, to try and get the best scoring we can get, yet still be within the funds that we can afford, is we did increase the total ask from an original, when this was thrown around, of OPWC, of a combination of loan and grant of $117,600, of the total project cost estimate of $158,925. And this, if our OPWC funds are 74% or less of the total project, that gives us 2 out of a maximum of 5 points. So in question, if that's, you know, to get more points, we'd have to ask for less funding, considerably less, to drop it down. We also then, if we have a loan component of the total of OPWC funds is between 31 and 49%, we've got a 31.04. That gives us 3 points, so we're looking at a loan of $36,500. But you're aware that loan in this case would be 12 years, 0%, so just a little over $3,000 a year in repayment. So that means the grant funds themselves we're actually asking for is $81,100. The nice thing is, since our total request is under the $150,000 threshold, we will get the full 5 points there. Now, we did show another option to increase the point scoring by increasing the loan amount in the range of 50 to 75%. If we did that, that would only boost us up from the 3 points to 4 points. So increasing that loan amount by that amount, decreasing the grant in the grant portion, we only gain the 1 point. So we decided not to do that. I'm hoping the trustees understand this, but again, and then we just say a prayer and hope we get approved, because we'll be competing against all of the different communities within the 3-county area of District 9. So those are the numbers. You can look through the resolution. This one you would have seen, I believe I sent this out last Saturday because we had the engineer's estimate in earlier, and that gave us time to work through different ways of the scoring here. Ultimately, there will be a subcommittee of the District 9 that will do the overall scoring, and that's something that I think sometimes has a little bit of objectivity, and some of it looks like magic and a lot of subjective stuff, which is in their final criteria of their scoring methodology. So if you guys don't have an issue with this, we want to get this application into OPWC.
I don't have an issue with it. Do you
No,
need?
no. I think the question you had, the question that Linda had was the percentage of loan. And decided to go with the lower percentage, 31%. So, no problem with that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes?
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
It's 8-9.
That is correct.
Okay, the next one I'm going to make a motion to bring to the floor, but there is one correction. On the second page of the resolution in section 2, the year should be 2024, not 2023. And if we end up needing a certified copy of the resolution, I'll get you an updated electronic one, Chris, but we just got this one completed today. So I'm going to make a motion to authorizing the submission of an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission Round 38 for funding of Moss Canyon Drive concrete replacement from the addresses of 843 to 851 on Moss Canyon. That is going to be approximately 241 feet long on the 28-foot wide streets. That will be 7-inch depth concrete, and there will be some driveway apron replacements there too. It's the 6-inch depth. That total project estimate, as you recall, last year we applied for this. We were not successful. So this year, during the 2024 budget hearing, Road Superintendent Smarsh did ask that we up the budget for the roads to include an additional $100,000 for concrete replacement in the subdivisions, which we did. We are doing that based on previous estimates of $90,000 for this particular project, and we now see there's been a 40% increase, and the engineer's office said a lot of that is the increase in the cost of concrete that's out there. So I'll just stop there. I'll make a motion and look for a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, this one, this is where, because of the condition of this road, it is very difficult trying to decide what to put in for in terms of our request of loans and grant funds. And I think, is it 2 times we've been turned down on this, Kevin, or 3 times?
3 times.
3 times we've been turned down in submissions in the past. And I also recall Bob Kleiber, it would have been Lorraine County Township Association meeting we had in Brownhelm Township. That's probably at least 2, if not 3 months ago. I remember there was a bad storm had come through. He had said the odds of getting anything approved in a subdivision is pretty slim. And didn't say don't submit it, but didn't give us a lot of warm and fuzzies. But he did say if you could leverage some stormwater funds, if you were doing like culvert replacements or catch basins, you might stand a better chance. We did check that on Middle Ridge Road to try and improve our odds, but Kevin had checked out there and said the culvert was real good. I've looked at the catch basins in this area and didn't see anything that's fallen apart or caving in. They all look like they're in good sound condition. But I do have, Georgianne, can you run this video? I did want the trustees to see it. I wasn't sure if they had a chance to go down there. Since we put this off several years already, hoping to leverage funds, and it just seems like the cost of repair is running away from us. So, go ahead.
You can't stop.
Gotcha. Beginning video at the intersection of Cobblestone and Moss Canyon. Walking west on Moss Canyon. Road looks pretty good. Address is 839 Moss Canyon. Walking towards the subject area with required repair. You can see the concrete so far looks pretty good. We're coming up on the first traverse joint that's had multiple asphalt patching. And now you see the final repair that was done with Amherst Township and the concrete. So now we show the original concrete street, multiple traverse asphalt repairs. We're just at 845 Moss Canyon. Continuing to walk west, approaching the intersection of Moss Canyon with Fieldstone Drive. You can see the road.
Just stop right there, Georgianne.
Is in
Back it up a little
need
bit.
of major repairs. I just want to show one thing because there's been several of these. Just go back, right there, you can see already, the road department's been patching this, but see how the concrete's all ready to break up there? You can see all the fractures, and there's multiples of theirs along this stretch. Okay, you can continue on.
Road is in need of major repairs, multiple patching. Now approaching 847 Moss Canyon. So you can see multiple patching repairs here. Road is degrading significantly. Continuing west. And now you see we transition in a good portion of Moss Canyon at 851 Moss Canyon address. This would be the end of the repair.
We've done concrete replacement down there in the past to the east. That's just, we've run into this before. The residents too will complain because they see neighbors that get concrete replaced, and it's like, when's it going to happen in our area? And in fact, I think I recall you, Chris, before you were a fiscal officer, asking about that.
And Oak Knoll?
But yeah, an Oak Knoll. But it's just, we've got to just take what we can afford. But with that, you'll see there's also a spreadsheet that Georgianne has up there, and it's in your packet also. We had looked at two options. Originally, I was swaying towards option 2, but I've been convinced by, I talked with Linda, who told me what Kevin said, because at the time we were going through this, Kevin wasn't available. He was out working on the roads, obviously, but Kevin lobbied, said, listen, we can't let this go anymore. And he said, let's go with the maximum points we can. Well, to go with the maximum points meant that we had to increase the amount that Amherst Township is going to provide, is essentially what it was, and still have a loan component in there so that 76% of the requested funds from OPWC's allocation to District 9 would be loan, 24% grant. So what that does is total project estimate from the county engineer is $126,140. What we're proposing is Amherst Township provide $95,867, which is under the $100,000 that we budgeted, and that was $100,000 addition over regular work that's done in the subdivisions, in concrete subdivisions. And the balance of the $30,273 from OPWC would be $23,008 in loan. In this case, since it's concrete, that would be paid over a minimum of 20 years, so we're talking about $1150 a year. And the grant amount would be small at $7,265, which is 24% of the request from OPWC. And with that, with those criteria, you can see it would give us the maximum scoring we can receive in the 4 criteria that are under our control, that being the percent of requests based on the total project estimate of being less than 24%, or 24% or less, that we get 5 points because we say we will begin within 6 months of the grant award. We would get 5 points if the loan component is between 76 and 100% of the OPWC request, and we put it right at 76%. And then the additional 5 points if we're under the 150,000, and in this case we're definitely under the 150,000 threshold. So of the things under our control that we can adjust, it's only those 4 criteria. So with that, that option one is the proposal that we put into the application. So I don't know if there's any, we've got a first and a second, if there's any other discussion on this project.
The only item I would bring up, Kevin, I know in the resolution it spoke of drainage problems there. Have we done anything to improve the drainage on this section of Moss Canyon? Do we have any curb drains put in, or?
I haven't put any curb drains in, but there's storm sewer running, large storm sewer running parallel and across. Large.
What I'm thinking is, should we also factor in some kind of curb drains or the road bed if this area is prone to water problems?
I mean, there's always room for improvement, but there's many places that are worse than Moss Canyon, you know, with the water problems there. Because the one side does, at least a portion of it does have curb drain in it.
Are we going to continue to have problems if we replace the road?
Well, it's just as well as anywhere else that's been replaced that doesn't have it. I mean, over time, of course it does. But I don't see it being a problem anytime, even a decent amount of the future. That's not a place where water stands. It's not a place that when you do dig up anything that it doesn't, you know, it's not complete wet like some other places are. It's fairly dry through there.
This will have limestone put under it too, which I don't know that it currently does. I know some of those roads were laid right on the soil surface.
And they're not 8 inches thick.
Now, some of those sections of road, I want to say, weren't they, I believe they were put in by the bank. They were put in by Gargas back in the 80s.
No, this wasn't an area that was put in by the bank. This was put in by God.
Moss Canyon?
Yes.
I just want, the first, the Middle Ridge resurfacing was put in our budget for next year. This Moss Canyon Drive was not. Just, I know we put in an extra 100,000 for concrete work, which it could go towards that, and then we put in 70 for the truck.
Right.
And we added another 150, but we'll
It's
still
80
be.
for the truck.
80
Yeah.
for the truck,
Yeah.
but we would still be 46,000 shy that, if this were to come through.
Why would we be 46?
Because we put $100,000 in for concrete work, that we
For
could use
additional
that,
concrete work.
that we could use that for this.
That's what it, right.
Because I'm looking at $196,700 for both projects that we will have to pay. 41 and 36 comes out to 77.
Oh, you're talking roads in
Then the
general.
95 and
Yeah,
23.
but we already had in the budget, looking at what our previous request would be, would have covered Middle Ridge. So we added 100,000 for concrete
Correct.
work to cover, knowing we were going to go through this project. At that time, thinking if we don't get approved, we pay 100%. But now the costs have gone up. And we were basing that on 90,000 and saying, okay, let's say a 10% increase, so 100,000 gave us a little extra, and we were shocked when we got the estimate above 126,000. And I think there was a 75,000 a previous one. I mean, these costs are just skyrocketing.
Right, I just wanted,
Well,
the whole thing's.
we should be okay because the biggest savings we have was CARES and ARPA. CARES not so much because we use that for, we got some equipment purchases, we got the new pavilion, we tried to do as much as we could to infrastructure. We had a significant amount go to our first responders to pay for fire service, which helped protect the fire fund and the EMS fund. The ARPA funds, when we first received them, had discussions with Amherst Fire Chief Wilhelm and Assistant Chief Demakia, and we were first thinking, since they had all these rules we had to follow, but after talking with them, the administrative cost of determining that a run was COVID related just didn't make it worth it. Then we thought, what are we going to do when we get an audit? And we just decided not to. But when they changed it, that we could pass a standard allowance if we're under 10 million, well, about 602,000? We were well under it, only received half of what the feds originally said we should receive. It's my understanding the state kept the rest, and that was because of what the federal U.S. Senate, in their description of an entitlement unit of government, kind of caused us to lose half that funding. But the main thing is, because of that, our carryover is much higher than it's been in the past. So this will definitely drop our carryover. We actually, road and bridge, we would be spending $244,000. Again, these are all projections. Almost $250,000 more in deficit spending, but it's only because of that carryover, and the carryover was because we had those ARPA funds. So I appreciate it, Chris, because you're right, it's going to go down. David brings up a good point about the curb drains, but this is, which we had added when we took loans out before, but they're longer, bigger projects. This is 741 feet. You might want to look at one of the catch basins there on the north side. It looked like it had an awful lot of grass in it. Might have just been temporary, but it looked like it was higher and still holding some water. But if that happens, you know that. But
Bringing it up, I wouldn't be doing my job if I did.
yeah, I'm glad you did, but I thought we were putting 100,000 extra, knowing we were in deficit spending. But again, if it weren't for those ARPA funds, we wouldn't be able to do it the way we're doing it, but eventually it has to be done. You saw that video, and if you walk down there, you're going to see that's only going to keep getting worse. We do have a responsibility to take care of those roads, and eventually we're going to see this in some other area. Then we're really going to be in trouble. So we got to keep chipping away at this. But okay, if there's any other questions? Okay, roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
And the number is,
That is 810.
What was it?
810,
810.
23.
810. 23.
okay, as far as the other items under unfinished business that are assigned specific responsibility, is there anything to bring up this evening?
I would just,
I skipped complaints, sorry about that. But
I would just add that under that request for a street light, I'm working with Ohio Edison to get a cost estimate to install a light at that intersection. The board can decide what we want to do with that.
okay.
Where is that located?
That's Old Middle Ridge and Dewey Road.
Yeah, that's under complaints, Chris, if it helps you.
Oh.
Yeah, and the other one, I'm just going to leave open, the one from Mr. Johns on the bad odor on Old Middle Ridge. I've got to contact him to make sure everything's still okay. I've been up there, reviewed it. Sam's talked with the business that had the decaying grass clippings. When I've gone up there now, I'm not smelling any bad odors anymore, but I wanted Mr. Johns to say, yep, everything's been corrected based on what, in this case, Bourne said he'd do. And once it is, we'll just be able to take that off.
We have these two resolutions.
Should have one. This one,
You already approved that?
yeah, that's, the second one we still have to go through. Let's see, that one for Middle Ridge is 8-9. Okay, so now under the unfinished business, is there anything to bring forward? Okay, then we'll go under new business. I did receive an email, and I believe was sent to everyone here from David Freeman, Lorraine County Department of Emergency Management, just asking that all communities in Lorraine County to approve the hazard mitigation plan. So there is a prepared resolution on the adopting of the federally approved Lorraine County 2022 hazard mitigation plan. So I'm going to make that motion.
Second.
Lynn, or any discussion? Sorry.
I don't have any. It was
Okay.
he sent the plan out to everybody, but I wasn't going to print that. That's obviously way too much.
Okay, Lynch,
Yes,
Keurig,
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
that's 811, Chris?
Yes, sir.
81123. And can you send a email? I've got it in there in section 2 that
Yeah, I'll
you'll
take it to
email
them.
everything to them with the certified resolution. Okay, and there's one other item under new business that Georgianne asked me to bring up since she's working on the next newsletter, is to notify residents, as long as there's no objection, that trick or treat will be on Sunday, October 29th, from 1 to 3 o'clock p.m. in Amherst Township.
I think so. I think it's
October
good. And that
29th.
would be,
Sunday, October 29th, from 1 to 3 p.m.
Is there a second on
We won't need a,
that? You won't
no,
need
it's
a-
just
No.
administrative, just recommendation.
but she wanted to make sure that there was no heartburn here before she puts that in the newsletter. There's no pulling it back once it gets done and sent out. And we know trick or treat is a hot button issue with people.
Oh, yeah, it
We know when you're ready, Chris. While she's doing that, is there any other business to come before the board?
I have nothing else.
I have nothing else either.
Chris is still working that. Our next regular meeting then will be at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, September 12th. Kevin, do you have any need for a work session?
No.
Sure there's no audience concern. Was there any need for an executive session?
No.
You're good? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
is. Abraham,
Yes.
Keurig,
Who made that? Denny?
both of you did at the same time. so
Okay,
I
well,
just
it's a
picked
second.
Abraham, Keurig, Lynch.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes.